We'll never know why the new Netflix show Squid Game has become one of the most popular shows ever, whether it's because of its gloomy theme or its strange games. These games make people think, such as how can you win the red light green light game, or are there any tug-of-war secrets we should be aware of? Keep an eye on the video for the answers to these questions, as well as more on how to win the Squid Game games. Sugar honeycombs. The second game in the Squid Game starts with each participant picking a shape from a star, circle, triangle, or umbrella. They had no idea that these shapes will end up as a design in a honeycomb cookie that they will have to scrape out with a needle without destroying the original shape. First and foremost, whether you choose the easy shape or the incredibly difficult shape, such as the umbrella, this game is based on luck. Because if you choose the umbrella, you already have a lower chance of surviving than the rest. The greater the number of acute angles in a shape, the more probable it is to be broken. If the players had spent more time studying the game, they would have noticed that they asked to choose a shape. Two of them immediately chose the triangular shape. This is due to the fact that they had already planned out the game in their heads and knew this would be the easiest shape to complete. Even if you wind up in the poorest and most difficult form, your odds are still good. The guidelines never said that you could only cut the shape with the needle. Saliva is a terrific and clever alternative for getting the shape out, just like it is in the show. If you moisten the candy, it will become softer, and you will be able to remove the form without cracking it. This is a highly innovative approach to get the form out, and given the high levels of stress the players were under and the short time frame, it was difficult to think outside the box, but it is a must-do if you want to cut out an umbrella shape in that amount of time. Nighttime violence. When a player is brutally murdered in the game's homeroom by another player, the reward money rises and the guards arrive to take the body. This is when the players realize that the inside is a free-for-all and that killing their opponents outside of the games will improve their chances of winning. As the guards leave the room and the lights are turned out for bedtime, the players realize that tonight is going to be a bloodbath. This segment of the show may be the most bizarre of the entire game. There are no rules or limitations, and when you're worth more dead than alive, everyone in the room has a reason to kill you. In this game, all you have to do is survive the night while the other more ruthless players kill each other. Running to the corner of the room and defending your position with a group of buddies is the ideal approach for this game. When you're imprisoned in a dark room, it's already difficult to see, but if you move to the corner, you'll only have 90 degrees of vulnerability, making you less likely to be attacked. And it's a lot safer than standing in the middle of the room when you're vulnerable from all sides. If you're lucky enough to find a group, your next best hope is to hide under the lowest beds against the floor. As soon as the lights go off, hiding beneath the bed increases your chances of survival because the assailant won't be able to see you because it's already too dark to see. It wouldn't be a pleasant night to hear everyone around you die, but at least you'd be secure. Marbles. For the next game, the players are told to pair up with somebody. They are then taken into a set that looks like an old town and given a sack of 10 marbles each. This is when the players realize they must play a game of their choice that ends in one player taking all 10 marbles from their partner, and the one left with no marbles is executed. The first stage to winning this game is to make sure you finish it before the 30 minutes are up. Otherwise, you'll both die. Playing a single all-or-nothing round will fix this problem, but it's a hazardous tactic because you can't get your marbles back if you lose. Rather than playing games of chance where your chances of winning are equal, agree to play a game that you know you are good at and will most likely win. And for that, there's no better game than Nim, an old Chinese game. In the game Nimbus, there is a tried and true technique that you know will help you win. To play the game, place all 20 marbles in the center and have each player take 1 or 2 marbles at a time. The game is won by whoever takes the final marble. Going first and taking 2 marbles is the key to winning this game. Then you take away the polar opposite of what they've taken away. So if they take 1 marble, you take 2 and so forth. If you stick to this technique, you will never lose and will always remove the final marble. This game and its hack aren't widely known, but if you do, it's an excellent trick to employ in a game like this. Now it's time to get into the details on how you can win the Squid Game's famous challenges. What are the secrets behind winning red light, green light, and are there any tips to help pull harder in tug of war? Stay tuned to the video and we will reveal these amazing secrets and hacks for these games. Red light, green light. Red light, green light is a game in which participants must race to the finish line in a specified period of time while the doll is turned away from them. When she turns around to face them, they must stop and remain still. It's a game of stop, start to get yourself all the way to the finish line without being shot. This game isn't only about speed, it's also about how much ground you cover while remaining stable and frozen at all times. For this game, the optimal way is to walk with your feet level on the ground and a wide stance to keep your center of gravity low. The game's old man is a fantastic illustration of how to win. As he moved, he was quite stable, with a low center of gravity and was timing himself. Because the room the players are in is made to appear smaller than it is, players must use another method to determine how fast they must walk to reach the final line before the clock runs out. It's critical not to concentrate on the doll, but rather on your feet and the area in which you're jogging. It's important for players to remember that they're listening for verbal hints rather than visual ones. By concentrating on where you're running, you'll avoid stumbling over other people and losing time. Another final strategy for mastering this game is to create a shield to protect yourself from the doll recognizing any movement. Players will follow behind other players in the show to prevent themselves from the doll feeling any movement, as the doll will attempt to capture the player in front first. Tug of war. For the next game, the players are requested to divide into groups of 10 with no idea what they're playing. After that, you'll be led to a room with 2 tall platforms connected by a rope. This is when they realize they're in a tug of war situation. This game has to bring back some awful memories for someone who was always picked last in gym class, because it's obvious that the game would be dominated by the biggest and most powerful players. In this game, if you are weak or old, you run the chance of killing your entire squad. Even if your team is inferior, there are still strategies you can employ to get an advantage and ideally win. The first technique is locking, which involves placing your elbow behind your thigh and locking any back and forth movement in the rope. Locking allows you to draw the rope with your complete body weight rather than just your hands and arms. An anchor grip is another strategy that a team could adopt. The person at the end of the rope wraps the rope around their torso in this position. This allows the person in the back to pull the rope with their body. In fact, they wouldn't even need to use their hands because their body is doing all the work. If neither of these methods worked, the Squid Game players may have shifted to one side and had the person at the back tie the rope to the metal bar. The guards have indicated that this does not violate any of their policies. And there you have it, tips and hacks on how you can beat each level of Netflix's Squid Game. Who knew that there were so many ways to win the games? Although some of these do require prior knowledge or thinking very outside the box, let us know in the comments if you knew any of these hacks and tips already, and if so, which ones? Thanks for watching.